Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Facebook Live. We're so excited that you've come to watch us today, and we're so excited to have Kristina with us.
Hi.
She is a representative from Vibrant Labs, which is a functional medicine lab, and I think it's really important to understand kind of what they do. Kristina has such a ton and a wealth of information, and just to explain, you know, a lot of times the ancillaries in medical care are hard to understand. What's the difference? Why are we checking these? Why do some people say one thing and other people say another? Because the more confusing it becomes, the less people know what to do with it, and so that sometimes they end up doing nothing with it, and that would be tragic. So we're just here to bring more information to you. So before we get started, a couple of things just to let you know is that number one, don't forget the Fat Club, which we have other members that have continued to lose 5 pounds of fat, and we're just saying congratulations to them because it's awesome. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up as far as the supplement of the day is we have another amazing person that we work with, and his name is Blake. And he is a veterinarian and makes these rockin' awesome dog treats. Now, people may watch me on these shows or watch us evolve here as a clinic and say, oh my gosh, dog treats? She's a physician, what the heck? But you know what we do? We just are really passionate about wellness.
Yep.
And you know what?
For everybody.
For everybody, including
Yes.
our pets.
Yes.
Because you know what pets are? Pets are part of your community. And if your community is intact, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can help your pets be well and you be well, you know what? Everyone's having a better day. So this is not far from anything at all. So know that. It was so cool because he does these things. Look, a probiotic for your pet. So cool.
Yes.
Sensitive tummy for your pet. So cool. Then you have calming, which is CBD oil for your pet. So cool.
Yes.
Joint and dental. And then you have itchy and scratchy. That makes me feel like one of those cartoons I've seen before. And then dental fresh breath. So when you come in to see us, you know, how many times do you drive through the bank and they give you a dog treat for your beautiful dog in the car? Well, now you can get a little dog treat for your dog and you can take it with you. So I told Blake, I'm like, oh yeah, people are gonna love these dog treats. So he brought them in and I'm so excited. So if you're interested in them, just call us and let us know, and know that we have them here in the office too, because this is wellness for our community. So the next thing I was going to say, and I'm looking at my phone, and the reason I'm looking at my phone is I have epiphanies sometimes, and I'll write them down when they hit me. So that's just what I do. So the other night, I was, actually, this whole thought came from, it's the thought of the day. And the whole thought of the day came about stress in teens. And where that came from is I had a teacher patient, and we were talking about this because I'm always chronically thinking about the stress response in the body and why our body does what it does and how it's trying to talk to us. So again, we'll always go back to the 7 things your body wants. It wants you to eat some whole foods, move, sweat, have a healthy gastrointestinal system, sleep, balance your energy, and feel like you belong somewhere. Those 7 things. If we do those 7 things, your body's like got the rest, right? Sometimes it gets a little sick and needs a little help here and there, but you know, the majority of the time it's doing pretty awesome. It did evolve to outlive the dinosaurs, I tell everyone. So that being said, it's good at what it does. So if we're talking about, you know, with this teacher, what we were talking about is like in math class, because she happens to teach math. And I asked her, I go, do you notice that there's people who are super, super great at math now, and some people, and most people though, are like really not wanting to do math anymore? And she confirmed that there's this divergence. There's over here, and there's less in the middle. And that made so much sense to me in what we're gonna talk about today. Because if you think about our body is a shell that we all live through, right? We're all alike in that we're human, but we're all different in that we're individuals. So the individual part of us has to figure out how to live through our shell, right? Once you figure out your shell and you're like, I love my shell, then you get to drive your shell better. And if you drive your shell better, you get all that power to drive where you want it to go instead of it driving you or protecting you from things. So it feels better. Well, when you think about from age 0 to 25 for a female, 0 to 27 for a male, the frontal lobe of our brain, which is up here, is maturing, okay? And so our car insurance goes down at 25 to 27. So that's where that whole statistic came from. So when you're thinking about it from age 0 to 25 to 27, every experience you have, every person that you look up to, etc., we're all like putting it in our computer, which is our brain. Okay, and for the rest of our life, we'll go back and resource that unless we kind of change how we think. But it takes more energy to change how we think because we've already planted the seed. So if we ever change how we think, we have to go dig up how we thought and move it, which takes more energy. So you just have to have the intent and energy to do so, if that makes sense. So, but our body, again, all it wants us to do is eat whole foods, move, sweat, pee and poop, that's what I say,
Yeah.
sleep, balance your energy, and belong somewhere. I think I said all this. So if you look at teens now, ask yourself the question, what are they doing? Are they eating whole foods? Are they moving? Are they sweating? No. Are they sleeping? Is their GI tract very good?
You clean the toilet, you know.
You know,
So.
yep. Do they know how to balance their energy? And do they feel like they belong somewhere? So if you're asking yourself the question, is there more anxiety? Why is there more depression? Why is there more suicide in our teen population? It's easy to answer that question actually. Our body feels like this world that we're living with and how we're doing it is just like, it doesn't understand it. And so when you live in a body that you haven't quite figured out yet and it's pushing against you so hard to run so fast, it can be so uncomfortable you just want to jump outside. So I could totally see how that could happen. Now the other thing too I wanted to mention is thought and balance of energy. So our world is getting so fast. It wants everything quick, right? And so the quicker it comes to me, the less I have to work at it. Now if I don't have to work at it and I don't have to think it through, I am literally not connecting who I am to my body, okay? So if someone gives me the answer 2 + 2 = 4 and they're like, it's 4, and I just know it's 4, but I didn't get there, I didn't run it through. And if I didn't run it through, I haven't connected that thought. So if I go through my whole high school, never learned 2 + 2 = 4, don't really understand how to read, all the sensory stimuli is coming into me when I'm in my 20s, and if I have a lot of people coming to talk to me, I will freak out because I have absolutely no clue how to handle any of it because I never learned it. I never pushed it through. So all I have to say is that easier doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. I mean, we have to take the energy to learn. We have to take the energy to push it through our bodies. So I just wanted to bring up that question so people can ask themselves that question. And a lot of times it's so easy to feel overwhelmed by these issues. You're like, well, what can I do different? Well, you know what? It starts with all of us. So it starts with, knowing that making dinner and sitting around and asking people how they did that day, it matters. It starts by taking time to be present with each other. It takes time to, eat some whole foods, and also maybe we don't have to drive around to 5,000 different sports things all night long and not take time to do the things that your body really thinks is important, because you can't think into your body what's important. You got to let it be what it is. So it just starts with all of us, and we have to change the way that we live. So anyway, on that note, we will throw that one to the side, and let's talk to Kristina, because such cool thing about labs are your body or your robot, it is always talking to you. But if you don't know what it's saying, you don't know what you can do about it, right? So the rest of the world, figuring out who you are, why you're here, that's hard. But your body, it's super easy if you have the data. And so I'd have to say, through working with Kristina and Functional Labs, what you really get this, and they do such an amazing job at their presentation. They make it yellow, red, or green. So when you sit down, people look at it and they're like, that's red, what am I gonna do to change it? I mean, they're like so motivated. I don't even care what that word is. Yes. And it's so easy to understand that it makes you feel less intimidated because you know what? It's your body. You should understand your body. You don't have to go to medical school to understand your body. We're just educators to help you hear what it's saying. Well, your body can't say, hey dude, my potassium is off. It just makes you feel like A, B, or C. So if you feel that way, ask your body. It tells you the answer. So if I'm looking for some answers from that beautiful body, my favorite person to come to is Kristina, because she's rockin' awesome, she's super smart, and I just love what she does, and I love Vibra Labs. So here's Kristina.
Thank you. That was an amazing intro. And I love you too. You're amazing. So I work for Vibrant America. We are a functional medicine, like you said, diagnostic lab. Our CEO came from Intel Pentium processors, and why you care about that is we do our testing on microchips. So this is one of our microchip plates. I have a 4-year-old with a little bit of an anger issue, so we chucked it a couple times. So it's not.
It's still made through a lot of that.
It has. But we do our testing on microchips, and why you would care is, when you come see Dr. Durland, she is really very conscientious of your healthcare dollars. And when you run it through our labs, our accuracy is 99%. When it comes to other labs, their technology, because they don't run it on like how we do with the microchip, it's like technology from 20, 30 years ago. It's kind of like, you want to make a phone call, do you want to make it from a payphone or do you want to make it from your smartphone? So this is a very advanced technology. And like I said, the accuracy is 99%. We've gotten validations through the Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, like all these very prestigious medical institutes. And we have a really, really coolest thing about all of this is our bundle pricing, and it's very, very affordable. And that's why Dr. Durland likes us too. So.
It's so great, and they're really transparent with cost, and
Yes.
so I love that, because so many times you go to access the system and you're so intimidated, like, how much is this going to cost? Should I really even get it? And then if you don't ask your body, you can't get the answer.
Yes.
So then it's so crazy, it's hard to help.
Exactly. And so we make it very, very affordable for you guys. We have a couple specials, and I wanted to go over them.
For it,
if
yeah.
That's okay. So, you know, when it comes to food, like what I love that Dr. Durland said was that put whole foods in your body. Well, people don't realize, like, the beginning of your health is like what you put into your body. So let's see how those foods are affecting you, right? So we have an amazing special right now where we can do 180 food sensitivities, 96 food allergens, and then 46 inhalants. So you get 4 different tests to kind of see how your body is reacting to what you're putting into it and the environment around it. And it's all for the bargain price through accepted insurances for $149.
And that is so, you know, when people find out, they're like, huh, it's so affordable. And then the other thing, again, going back to this whole energy thing, is when your body uses energy to fight off allergies, you don't get that energy, right?
Exactly.
And when your body is puffy and it feels bad, your brain doesn't feel good either. So life is hard. Food allergens and sensitivities are easy. And the other thing I hear a lot of times is people look at it and they're like, well, what do I do with this information? Do I cut this out? And so we also try to sit down and talk with folks and let them know, oh my gosh, you can't eat this, but you can eat this.
Exactly.
And so how you modify your foods. And when you really get down to it too, again, we evolved in a cave. And when you're in a cave, did we have box foods? No, we just went out and pulled it out of the ground, off the tree, or we killed the animal or got the fish. So those are whole foods. So it's interesting as we look at like food allergies and food sensitivities. It's so many of the foods that we eat all the time in the cave are like not what we're reacting to. We're reacting to all the stuff we've messed with, and so I see that over and over. And then the interns did such an amazing job as well at looking through. Like when we send people to Quest, they only look for 20 of the most common food allergens. 20. So we miss like 123 different food allergens that people have.
Yeah.
Because when they come in and you show them 20 things, you're like, we didn't find anything. They go, well, I'm not allergic to food.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so I'm going to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And so
I'm like, I'm breaking out in a rash, I'm bloated all the time, and I'm having diarrhea. I'm like, I think your body's still talking to you, but I just don't have the data to know. Yes.
So we're the solution for that. And also, if you've ever heard about intestinal permeability, well, most people know it as leaky gut. We can test for that as well. And I know Dr. Durland does a great job of like explaining what that is, and kind of, you know, that's the key to overall health, is whether your gut is leaky or not. You don't want what you're eating to get into your bloodstream. So we test for that too. And so I was going to also let you know, this is exciting.
Everything's exciting.
Everything's exciting.
Yeah.
So we are a technology company, and so Dr. Durland is part of a pilot program where we're going to customize diets based on your results from the food sensitivity and the food allergen test. So we will really give you a great direction on how to reduce that inflammation and really what is affecting you and what isn't. So.
Yes. And then other things too that I love about this is, you know, she's able to do labs like CoQ10. So CoQ10 is a supplement that people will talk about for heart health, for example. Well, it's about like $40+ a month. Yep. And so, and people say ubiquinol, I won't even get to that conversation today. But you can test for CoQ10. Now, I can't test for that from Quest. So the other thing I love running your labs is that I can see, hey, you could take curcumin, you could take this, you could take that, but what does your body want? So then you don't have to take in like 50 different supplements that you really don't know why. You're like, your body wants this one, this one, this one.
Yes.
And then you can measure it, and you can measure and say, you've got enough, you don't have enough. And so it's awesome that you just can really customize a plan for you and ask your body the question, it will tell you the answer.
Absolutely. We're all about personalized medicine and really getting down to the root cause of why you feel like crap, why you can't poop, pee, eat whole foods.
You're
all
tired.
Yes.
And then you also have like some heavy metal testing now,
yes.
and mold toxicity, and there's micronutrient testing as well.
Yes, we have a plethora of testing. We also have, you said mycotoxins. We have a neural zoomer that can kind of tell what your brain health is. Some people want to know, some people don't, but we have the capability of measuring that. We have a SIBO test called IBS Sure. We also have, like I said, the food sensitivities. We have an intestinal permeability panel. We have a ton of testing. So if you want to find out the answer or why you're feeling tired, can't poop pee, come visit Dr. Durland and we'll help her find out for you.
The other thing too I was going to mention is, okay, so there are the food allergies and food sensitivities, but these Zoomer tests, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit so people can understand what the heck is that.
Okay.
So Kristina really helped me understand this and that, and walk me through, like with the microchip technology, you have to choose what antigen you're or what protein you're checking, right?
Yeah.
So if someone comes in and says, Sam, every time I drink milk I break out in a rash, but their milk allergy comes back negative, they'll be like, well, I'm not allergic to milk. I'm like, oh, no. Trust your body.
Yes.
It's just that the particular protein that you're allergic to maybe didn't show up on the one protein thing that this is, but you could do the Zoomer and you could pull all the protein out because maybe you're reacting to something in here and that little test checks something there. So if you stretch it out, then you can figure out what it is.
Absolutely. And so what she's meaning is, like, most food sensitivity tests, even ours, is at the whole protein level. So if you think about a puzzle and a 1,000-piece puzzle, if you look at the whole picture, that's a protein. But if you look at each individual puzzle piece, that's going to be a peptide. So when we do a Zoomer test, we're looking at each of those individual puzzle pieces and seeing exactly how you react to it. So it's more sensitive and specific, and in the lab world, that means more accurate. And then we can tell truly if you're reacting to something, because I can't tell you how many times, like, a neighbor or patient or somebody is like, oh, well, I did an allergy test and it didn't say I was allergic to anything, but they could have a sensitivity, and that will, backing it up, there is a difference between an allergy and a sensitivity. An allergy is usually an immediate reaction to something, so that's IgE testing, and then IgA and IgG is more delayed reaction. So it could be something that you ate like a day or two ago and then you're just now getting a rash. So that's why it's super comprehensive when you do our testing through Vibrant, through Dr. Durland. So.
And I also want to just keep reiterating too that trust your body. Your body is always talking to you. And it's so common that people come in and say, this lab test said I'm not normal, or I had this, I'm not this. I'm like, well, what did your body say? So you just don't forget to trust your body. And even though certain things may come up certain ways, there's always an explanation while that may happen. So just your body's number one.
Absolutely.
So I think, that's what we're talking about today is just the amazing, Kristina and all those Vibrant labs. And then just what they do and the different things that they can talk about. Are there any questions that anyone has asked? Okay, cool. Field questions.
So there was a question about healing your gut.
Yes.
And what does a typical protocol look like? So they've had their appointment, following up with their labs, and they get all this great information. So now what? Now I'm sensitive to this, or I'm allergic to that.
Yeah.
Now what?
So
go ahead.
We're both excited to answer.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Durland has some amazing protocols, but the coolest part is when you run your labs through us, we can specifically tailor a diet that can help heal your gut, but also, like, when it comes to it, there's different functionalities with your endothelial lining, your villi, like different treatment protocols for each of those different components of your small intestine, and we can identify how to treat and customize it to you and what damage you have. So that's the really cool part about our testing. She has her protocols that you can go into, like,
in the big scope of life, I try to always look, the law of nature is all about energy conservation. And I don't mean to keep saying that, but that literally is the law of nature. So I always try to run any thought I have through the law of nature first, and if it doesn't reconcile, I go back till I can make it work better.
Yeah.
So when you think about your gut, your stomach is the churner, it's a blender, you got your small intestine, and then all your bacteria usually is in your large intestine, right? So
where it's supposed to be.
Where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So if you help people, but if you're stressed out, you're gonna eat different foods, right? So I always try to be like, okay, are they stressed out? How can I help with that? Because that's gonna put different food in their mouth. And then the second thing you wanna make sure is, hey, the food they're putting in, they're not allergic or sensitive to it. Because while in medical school they didn't teach me that that's important, all I can say is I do tons of these and people stop eating them and they feel so much better. So all I can say is that it works. I'm just here to help people get better, right?
Exactly.
So I totally believe in it because of that. And so then I'll talk to them about whether they do some Inflammacor or some berberine, or maybe they'll do some SBI Protect or GlutaShield, because everyone has a different Oh, everyone has different kind of pride, they'll be like, well, I really can't afford that, but all this. I'm like, okay, so we try to customize a plan that meets their budget as well. Because of course I could say, hey, I want you to do digestive enzyme and Flammicor and a probiotic every day, and they'll look at me like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, I totally get that too. So let's do this. So we just work on a plan for that. So basically it's a probiotic for the large intestine, digestive enzymes for your stomach, which is the blender, and other things to help the epithelium in the middle. But never discount your body's amazingness, and that you can do intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is just where you don't eat for a little while, because your gut is one of the most rapidly dividing cells of your body, and if you just stop bombing it with food that it doesn't like and you give it a little time, it can fix itself.
100%.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yes. So I try not to make it too complicated, but
Yes.
yet enough that people are like, I feel better.
Yes.
Yes.
Another question that's come up is, what happens when you get all these results and maybe you try to share them with a PCP or a different provider who's kind of part of your healthcare team, and it's not well received? How does somebody who might not have the support system kind of
Navigate
go with,
that. So I would say, again, I went to medical school, right? Went to residency, practiced in a very conventional setting. And I really didn't get any data training at all about food allergens, food sensitivities. I really didn't get any training at all about the stress response. I didn't get any training at all about working out, proper eating around working out, anything.
Well, so let's ask you this. When you went to medical school, how many hours did you spend on nutrition?
Like none. Zero. The food pyramid, which is not right. Eat a lot of carbs. That's what they told me.
I know. That's what I'm saying is like, it's so funny. What you eat is like the fuel for your body.
Yeah.
But in medical school, it's hardly even touched.
Yeah.
When it comes to.
And then you have to look at what our life is like when
Yeah.
we're there. It's like you're in this world that you're in these concrete walls for umpteen hours. I mean, when I went there, we didn't have residency restriction and like restriction on students. So, I mean, you work these like 48, 72 hour, I don't know, maybe not 72 hours, but like 48-hour shifts. And you just keep going. That is horrible for the human body, like horrible. And then you drink like a big thing of chocolate milk with a whole bunch of fat. So when you're staying in the OR and you can't move for 8 hours, that no one's going to yell at you, and that you're not getting hungry while you stand there. So I mean, you're kind of in this world that's very anti the world we're talking about, even too. And so if you can survive that's the world those people are surviving in. So that's not very healthy. So if you go ask those people, how do you be healthy? They're like, drink chocolate milk, don't move when you're in the OR. That's the words that you're gonna get. So and the other thing you have to know too is when we go through training, I mean, it's scary to be a physician and have people come in and say, I don't feel good, can you make me better? Or it's scary to do surgery on people and look around and be like, well, it's me and you're bleeding to death, we got this, right? So people, I mean, even though physicians wanna help people, they also have to protect their own sense of heart and things, and so a lot of us get very controlling. We get controlling because we think if this is here and this is here and I hold this here and I do this there, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, because we're human, just like you. And so if I have not learned about nutrition, if I am like stressed out all the time because I've been up for 36 hours and you come in and you say food allergens, food sensitivities, help me understand that, and I have had no sleep, I never got any training about it, nor do I have time to go learn about it, I'm like, this is bogus. Well, all I can say is that I've been through all of that. I felt it myself. I help people all day with it. And if you want to ask, does this stuff help people get better? I would say yes. I look you in the eyes, 100 up and down, all around, and say it does, it does, it does. And I also personally feel that the fact that they only check for 20 foods is not doing people proper justice, because we already looked at our data and we missed tons of people. And if you miss that one thing, your mouth still feels weird, you feel bloated all the time, and you don't poop right. That's not normal.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the biggest takeaway from that is just making sure that you have a healthcare provider that you can team up with and is an advocate for you, and you guys can collaborate on your care. So I really don't, for people like that, maybe interview a new doctor.
You just have to find that right balance, and I think
Yes.
there's a lot of folks out there. It just finds the right one. But when you go to a physician, you go to them and you're looking for wisdom and you're looking for advice.
Yes.
But never forget, in all of it, I'm a person just like Kristina's a person, just like Lauren is a person. Your body is your best guide. So if someone says, I think you should run up the mountain at 5,000 miles an hour, and your body's like, no, we're not doing that. Just don't run up the mountain, man.
Yeah.
Your body's telling you not to do it, don't do it.
Exactly.
Yes.
100%.
So no, Lauren went down to get more questions. I'm not quite sure where she went, but did you have more questions?
We did.
Oh, look at her go.
Yeah.
We love these.
More question.
If you could describe the difference between an allergy and a sensitivity, and is an allergy forever? And what does the sensitivity look like? So if taking foods out of your diet, how long does that typically last, or what should someone expect when they see these results?
So I'll say, what do you normally say?
So I would say, like, again, the difference between an allergy and a sensitivity. An allergy is typically something that is more immediate. Like an extreme response would be anaphylaxis, where your throat swells, you get hives, things of that nature. But you can have reactions that are moderate, and when they're moderate, they're a little bit more subdued than that, anaphylaxis, you're gonna die type of reaction. And then sensitivities, usually, they happen hours, even days later. So that's the difference between, so the way you can think about it is an allergen IgE reaction is immediate, and then a food sensitivity IgA, IgG is more delayed reaction. And then we talked about a food allergy, is it forever? Typically.
Yeah.
You don't really, I think, like when you're younger, they say you grow out of certain allergies. No, your immune system is just able to,
coexist with them better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a sensitivity, it depends. It depends 100% on if you have intestinal permeability and how that gut is healing. And, obviously when you have intestinal permeability, you want to take those food sensitivities out, because we want to take those inflammatory foods out.
Is it just making your gut more leaky?
Exactly. So let's heal it first, and then start to reintroduce those food sensitivities.
And it's interesting to see, like I think too, there's a lot more data to be attained by looking at these things, because if classic medicine hasn't quite embraced it as of yet, then we don't have as many studies.
Yeah.
And so also what I speak to people about is what I see anecdotally in the office. So I would say your immune system is built to remember. That's what it's supposed to do, right? So if you think that your body's going to forget, that means you're asking it to go against its rule book. So that doesn't seem to make much sense to me. But what you can find is that sometimes if you get the gut more intact and like the brush border gets more intact, you're more able to take some more things in. You have more resilience.
Yes.
Because if your gut's all broken down and you eat foods, it's like, bleh, I have no power. But if you put the brush border back on, and maybe you are kind of sensitive to soy, and a little soy gets in your sauce, then your gut might hurt a little bit, but it goes right away. And it's not like you feel so tired that you have to sleep for 2 days. So I do, and the crazy thing is too, I kind of see sometimes, even though it seems to be against what I would think, I do, people have had horrible allergies, and they do allergy shots, and then their allergies to the environment go away. So I've seen people come in and their respiratory allergens, they're like, oh my gosh, I used to react to this, and it's all green. And I'm like, this is so cool. I think we can work around this somehow, because, your body always wants you to be okay. But in general, I say IgE is forever, and I see IgG and IgA come and go sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so this next one might be one for Kristina, but we've got folks who are tuning in from out of state or just out of town, and they aren't able to come to SAM to get their food allergy testing, or it's tough for them to get in the office, but they still utilize SAM as a physician.
Yes, we do. Okay, yes. Yeah. So we can definitely do that. So what we would do is we would ship you a kit to your house, and then if you go to vibrant-america.com and you put in your zip code, we can find the nearest draw site. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is if you have another primary care doctor or another specialist, usually if you take the kit to their phlebotomist, they'll do a courtesy draw for you. So those are the two options. If you really can't find someone, have Dr. Durland can ask me and I can help you. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
I think those are all the questions that we had. We did have a couple little update type of things for the.
Oh yeah, we have a Jadlyn event where we're doing positive body imagery, and it's tomorrow night downtown at Jadlyn, and we're super excited about that. It's at 5:30. We have some giveaways, and we have some, just quite Q&A, so we're excited to be there. And then I'm talking at that Circle S Ranch retreat on Saturday at 3, just about kind of, stress relief, being a woman, and how do we make it work. So I'm super excited to be part of that as well. And then I got to be on Kristina's podcast, which was super fun, and talk to Sarah. So I don't know when that is coming out, but that was super fun.
Yes, so we're going to have that in a couple weeks, and we'll keep you guys updated. Dr. Durland did a fantastic
It was
job.
fun.
It was super fun.
It
And
was
we
And we have a testimony about accountability.
Oh, yes. And so we also, Lauren is, okay, here's this little, so I was, oh, this is so fun. So we're also talking about a test, because people love testimonials. So like, how does this, have people really had this work? So one of the things we're also working on is how we help people with behavior not behavior, but lifestyle change, and feel support. Because the world is so hard, and it's like we ooze this energy out, but where does the world give energy in? So we just want to help people achieve their goals. And when you give people energy, it's easier for them to attain that, because when you get tired, you stop helping yourself, and we don't want that to happen. So if you keep helping yourself for an extended period of time, it becomes a habit, and you don't give it away, and you feel better. So it's so cool. So, okay, so this is from one of our amazing patients, and she said, hello, Lauren. I'm going to skip that one part. So it says, thanks, Lauren. You are so wonderful, motivating me every single week. Because what you can do is Lauren will like email and text you, and you can let her know your steps, and you let her know how everything is going, just to help you with mindset and things, and it's super cost effective. It's like the most rockin', amazing wellness coach you could ever have. Sending me positive text messages. I'm very happy to have Dr. Durland and you as a team helping me live a more positive life, eating more healthfully, and doing exercise every day. Thank you. I feel very blessed to know you both. That's so sweet. Yes. So just know that we do help many people with that, and then Lauren can do like walks with groups of women, because when you move, you talk, and when you talk, and when you move, you just kind of let it out, which just feels good. So we do this all sorts of different ways, but we try to be innovative to help you in your world be the best you can be. Ooh, and April 1st walking starts again, and it's on Wednesday, right? What time is it? At 7 a.m. Woo! Well, the sun will be up, and it'll be a little bit warmer, so feel free to come if you'd like. So. All right, well, thanks again for tuning in, and thank you so much, Kristina, for coming and being with us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.